To some, August 13th was just any other Sunday. But to me, August 13th is a day that not only will I never forget, but is still shaping who I am right now. So from February to August 13th, I worked at a restaurant called Toots. I had this cool manager outfit. I just did the normal duties of what you would, if you worked in the restaurant industry before, you kind of understand what it is that we do. You know, we do everything. Sometimes we wash dishes, sometimes we cook the food, sometimes we go over and talk to people that are angry. It's a pretty normal manager at a restaurant job. But on August 13th, it was different. We were slow. We were slow, so slow in fact that we decided to have a little arm wrestling contest. So I went first and I arm wrestled somebody. And whenever I arm wrestled them, it was fun, you know? I beat them, we had arm wrestled before, but then my friend at the bar, who I just started working out with maybe about 2 weeks prior, said, hey, we should arm wrestle. So this was like the main event. We're sitting there at work, slow on August 13th, Sunday night. It's dark, I got about an hour left of my shift. I was like, all right, let's arm wrestle. So we line up on the bar and we start going for it. I have him about halfway, he has me about halfway. We hold it for about 20 seconds, kind of intense. Some people are actually getting into it that are sitting around the bar like, come on, yeah, go, you got it. And so I get motivated, my adrenaline starts pumping. I start moving him towards about the halfway point. And then in that moment, I decide to turn my back and lean over it more so I can really secure the win. But in the same moment that I turn my body and I turn my back, he decides to and pushes at the same time that I do. In that moment, there's a loud pop on the back of my arm. I immediately, I'm stumbling around and I'm like, and I remember saying out loud in the entire restaurant, by the way, family friendly, by the way, I said, who the F punched me in the back of the arm? And everyone thinks I'm crazy, obviously, because I'm in shock. I'm in a lot of pain. They're like, Eli, no one hit you in the back of the arm. So I'm holding my arm, I'm stumbling around. Eventually I fall and I kind of scoop myself over towards the wall. I'm leaning back against the wall, kind of looking up. One of the bar regulars over there helping me out. And I'm like, I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm like, I'm about to pass out. And then I did, I passed out. 60 seconds later, I come to and I'm like, okay, I knew I passed out, right? But it's still, if you've passed out before, you know the feeling I'm talking about. It's just like rushing, feeling, you can't, you're awake, but you can't come out of it. It's really surreal. Whenever I pass out, I wake up, I look around, and this time I don't know I'm gonna pass again. I pass out again for maybe 20 seconds. But the second time, whenever I woke up, there was just firefighters. There were firefighters around. They're like, what's your name? What's your birthday? Blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, they're asking me this. They're putting my arm into a splint. Kind of hurts, but it's fine. This isn't good. I've broken my arm. But then as I'm leaving and they're putting me up in the gurney, I'm like, am I gonna lose my job over this? Because I didn't hurt anybody, but since I got hurt, I'm like, I could be a liability. That's in my business mind. I was like, this isn't good. Small business, and obviously people saw what happened and it was an accident. It doesn't mean that I couldn't get fired though. So I went to the hospital. Even that night, I took this video right here. I've been here for 6 hours. I have an IV. I have a broken humerus. And hopefully I have surgery in the morning. I'm tired, but I can't sleep. And this is to serve as the memory that I broke my arm wrestling. All right. It gives me chills to think about how much pain that was. And they're like, hey, you're gonna have to have emergency surgery the next morning. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when they moved me back 2:30 and everything. And then so I'm laying up there thinking my goodness, this is really about to happen. I'm gonna have to have surgery the next morning. So it was hard sleeping. I didn't really sleep that well. I slept about 10 minutes at a time, off and on for the entire night until I woke up. Ended up having surgery not that morning because it got pushed back and it was just later on. But then I was sad after. I ended up going back to talk to the people at work about 2 weeks later after or maybe it was about a week later after I had surgery. And that's when I found out that I was gonna be fired. So, no more job. have a broken arm. I can't really do anything. My hand doesn't work. And I'm just kind of down. I felt hopeless. I remember coming back after they had fired me and I was sitting at my computer and I cried. I sat there and I cried and I asked why. I'm like, why, God, is this happening to me? Why do I have to go through this right now? I don't want to go through this right now. Like, I thought everything in life was going pretty good, but it got turned around for that reason. It was a rough first 3 weeks or so after surgery. Things have gotten so much better now. I've decided to try to do something different, but I think this is gonna change a lot for me in a good way. Starting YouTube has allowed me to like fuel some of this creativity, or to let out some of the creativity that I've always had. I still have no job. I still have basically a broken arm that my hand only half works on, which is okay. But I've started something new. I'm glad that I did. It's proven to be a challenge, like I knew it would be. The amount of time isn't what's bothering me. It's the picture I have in my head of when I want to sit down and tell a story. I have a lot going on up here and I can't seem to portray it in the right way. But I'm gonna keep trying new things until something works. Thanks for listening to my story, and check out this new outro.